When Monroe was 2, she did something that I will never forget. She did something that will make me afraid of what she's capable of for the rest of her life. She was 2, she was really into binkies. Like really into binkies. And if you don't know what a binky is just a pacifier. But really it's baby smoke. Like a baby vape pen. That's a good analogy, if you've seen a kid who really needs binkies, or if you've, seen somebody who's like a chain smoker. It's the same kind of personality. Like if they don't have their drug, they get really just tense, really just, negative, pessimistic. And like with the smoker, they first get that hit if they had, no cigarettes for like 8 hours, they get real relaxed, positive, way cooler to be around. Same with the kid who needs a binky. No binky, she was just, really frustrating. Just like, no, I'm not tired! No, I'm not tired! No! Sorry about that, I'm gonna go lay down. Just so easy with the binky. And she was super into binkies when she was 2. To go to bed at night, she had to have a binky in her mouth, one in each hand, 10 to 15 more binkies scattered around the crib. So she could sleep in a binky paradise. And if she let go of one, she could flail around and hit one before she really got going, And they expected that level of junkie to go cold turkey in one day. It's an unreasonable premise. About 2 weeks after the band, they started catching her with binkies. She was sneaking them in. And I love how they caught her. She kept going to the same corner of the daycare, this one like dark corner. They noticed like an hour in, she'd walk over there. She'd use her body as a shield, take the binky out of her pocket, take a couple hits, put it back. Hey guys, just checking out the corner. Might want to dust it eventually. Their response cracked me up. Their response was to start patting her down on her way into daycare. Like she's a tiny felon trying to get a shiv into the reading room. So then her pop-pop, her grandpa, her mom's dad, he got embarrassed about this. He didn't like her getting patted down. And so he starts patting her down at home so she can't bring a binky from the house. And for a while, there's like a 2 pat-down period. For a week or 2, she was getting patted down at home and at daycare. During that little window, she still snuck in the binky. And it's crazy how she did this. We figured out how she did it. Just the planning and manipulation that went into this at 2 years old. She knew that Pop-Pop always, got her dressed for school or daycare at the same location by the front door. So she knew that, so she hid a binky by the front door, let Pop-Pop get her dressed, and then she would cup the binky in her hand, and then give Pop-Pop like a fake hug. Just, hug Pop-Pop! Hug Pop-Pop! She wasn't trying to hug him because she was being extra affectionate. She needed to get close. So she could drop the binky into his front shirt pocket, and then let him unknowingly transport it to daycare. Just an accessory in a little daycare felony. She would let Pop-Pop get the contraband through customs, right, as she got patted down a second time, and then be like, hug Pop-Pop, hug Pop-Pop. Then cup the binky, take it back out of, his pocket, put it back into her pocket, and then just walk in like a champion. Incredible. After all that, they still took the binky, which I felt like was the wrong message. If I'm working at daycare, she keeps it. Firstly, out of respect for what she's already accomplished. And second, out of fear of what she may do next.
My wife, she's white. Whoa, it got quiet, okay. But my wife is just not white. She white. Now, I know a lot of people in here are white, and you're questioning yourselves right now going, am I white? No. My wife is whiter than you. My wife is from Gillette, Wyoming white. You hear that? When white people intimidate me, like, damn. That's white. But we got a beautiful family, man. We got 2 kids. My son is now 5, my daughter's 2, and they're black, white, and Asian. That's right. We gave birth to pandas. We call them Ling Ling and Sing Sing. And my last special, I talked about this when my son was born, because I didn't have a daughter at that time. When my son was born and the doctor handed me my son. It's crazy as a father because I knew I would die for him, right? And I don't even know this dude. He could be a terrible human being, but I would die for him, But when they handed me my daughter, oh, it was different. I was like, oh, okay. I would kill for you. I became a murderer overnight. Because the family dynamic to me is crazy. Like, I would die for my son, I would kill for my daughter. But here's what's crazy. I wouldn't kill for my wife. Because that's not my job. That's her father's job. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. Because I love both of my kids the same. But the love is in different directions. My son, I want him to be able to take care of himself, be strong. But I know for the rest of my life, I'm going to protect my daughter. 100%. And what's the biggest threat to women? Men. Look at that. Men. So now I hate all men. I became a lesbian activist overnight. / murderer. I'm Ellen DeGeneres with a gun. Because every man's a threat to my daughter. Every single man eventually will be a threat to my daughter. I hate my son. Sometimes I hate my son. Why? Because he's a threat to my daughter. We all have baby cams and watching my kids play. My daughter's playing with her little toy. My son walks over and grabs the toy from her. I get so angry, but then my daughter grabs it back and I'm like, yeah, that's my baby girl. Right? Don't take no man's crap. But then my son looks around to see if anybody's watching. Starts backing up where she is, and he hits her with his butt. And she falls to the ground and starts crying. I get so angry inside. I'm so mad. I want to f this little dude up, right? But I can't. He's only 5, and it's not a fair fight. It's not a fair fight. All I can do is scream and like, hey, you better stop that. And he runs off. But my daughter could hit my son with a brick in the face. I'd be like, hey, girl, good job, good job.
My dad was a racing car driver. That's what he wanted to be. That's why his nerves are shot, because he tried to do that. My brother, that's how my brother got into motorsport. My brother, Will, is an IndyCar driver over in America. He actually just won the world championship for IndyCar. How crazy is that? Yeah. Sure. Yeah. He drove so fast in a circle. He won. Like, he had the best circle. I didn't watch, but apparently I went to my uncle who watches all of it. He's like, it was a good one. Like, he had the best circle on the day. You follow IndyCar? Yeah. So he had the best circle of the year. And they gave him the badge or whatever, the trophy. And that's not funny. That's like, man, you're risking your life to get the best circle. Like, I reckon it's impressive. But he's actually the greatest driver in the history of the entire sport, like statistically, you know? Like when you play the PlayStation game, man, he's the dude you select. Yeah, I select him and drive repeatedly into the wall. It's to overcome childhood trauma. But you know, he can die doing his job. You know, I can die as well, but it's an internal. I have died many times on the inside, but he actually dies. And so that makes you, like, Will's very profound, like he's very philosophical. Like he said something really profound to me when he won the world championship. He said, you know what, bro? Everything I've dreamed of having since I was a kid, I have right now. And he goes, you know what? It doesn't make you any happier. He said, in fact, it can make you sadder because everything we're told in this society that will make you happy doesn't. And when you get it and you realise that, it can make you really depressed. And he looked me right in the eyes as he said this, and I'll never forget it. He goes, you know what success is? Success is being in the moment more often with your friends and family. He said that's success. And he looked me right in the eyes as he said it. And he just started that Ferrari up. And he flicked me a small diamond because he has a pouch of diamonds now from the championship. I don't know if that's part of it. And he flicked me a diamond and took off because I'm not allowed to sit in that particular car. But and he started doing circles, and they were perfect. I was like, it all makes sense, you know, like. But in a lot of ways, I feel sorry for my dad, you know, because like things for the older generation, like things are changing so fast. You know, like my dad posted a Facebook status the other day, and the status was, "How do I log into my Facebook?" That's how confused he is about the world. Like, how do I log into my Facebook? And I'm like, "You're in, dude. Trust me, you're in." But that'll be us. We'll be retiring. There'll be technology we don't understand. You know, like they're already talking about connecting your brain to the internet. That'll be us. We'll forget to put a thought on private. And you'll accidentally send out big dressed as nuns to your whole contacts list. Someone the other day on my Facebook shared a Nike ad, which made me really angry. I hate that shit because like it was like a woke, you know those woke Nike ads? It was like a pregnant African woman, and it was like, Nike, the toughest athletes on the planet. She's like, that's right, everybody. Good job, Nike. It's about time people understood that African women are real and they get pregnant, okay? But I hate that because Nike is like the worst corporation. Like they've just got accused of slave labour. Like they just use wokeness to hide the evil they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just know they would have had a boardroom meeting where they're like, look, guys, we've been accused of slave labour again. We need to ramp up the wokeness. Suggestions, what do you got? Okay, what about this? An ad, it's Serena Williams playing tennis with two white women. And it's like, Nike, dream crazy. It's like, I think we could be a little more woke than that. Okay, Usain Bolt holding hands with 4 Asian men as they run through a refugee camp. Nike, dreams take struggle. Good, Richard, but I don't think you understand. We need to distract from slavery here. We need way more wokeness than that. Okay, a lesbian Muslim playing soccer with a disabled Jew. Nike, dreams unite. Better, Richard. Now you're on it. I can see you're on it. More, though. I know you've got more. Okay, a non-binary Asian trans woman runs through a stadium of disabled Arabic men. When they cross the line, boom, close up on a midget. Brilliant, Richard, you've done it again. Brilliant. That's a little bit offensive, though. It's not midget, it's little people. Excuse me. We've been trying to get them into basketball for years. I wish they did good but had ads. Wouldn't it be better if it was the other way around? Like people actually did actions and then said the opposite. I would rather that, wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Like their ads are but they're doing amazing things, paying their workers crazy. But their ads are like Michael Jordan walks out, he's like, you'll never be me. Look at you, you fat sitting on the couch, you're drinking custard, you think you're going to put on my shoes and slam dunk, you're nothing. Nike, don't dream.
And it's really exciting to be able to tell this joke where people understand what a garage refrigerator is. It's wonderful, okay? Because I live in Los Angeles right now. And when I talk about having a garage refrigerator to a Los Angeles audience, all they hear is 2 refrigerators. Someone must have grown up a billionaire. And I have to correct him. I'm like, oh no, you don't understand what a garage refrigerator means for most of the United States. A garage refrigerator simply means you finally got a new refrigerator. And then you said, don't throw the broken one away. That's for weird now. That's for things that should get cold, but if they don't, that's still okay. That's for things we don't want around the everyday milk and eggs, you know? That's for more loose deer meat in a Ziploc. That's what we're gonna put out in the garage refrigerator. stuff from your neighbor. That goes in the garage refrigerator. You know what I mean? Your neighbor Jerry shows up, he's like, you want any of this meat? Nah, I shot him. Like, you wrecked your car, Jerry. You hit that meat. I know that. That's hit meat. I'll take it though. Thank you so much. I know your processing plant. They do a great job. All right. I'm gonna put it out with the hot beer. I thought I was really rich growing up. I really did. I thought we were very rich. It doesn't take a lot to feel rich when you grow up in a meth town. It doesn't. Like, my dad sold cars and my mom was a babysitter, and I was like, I get why we're Republican. Keep the government out of this combined annual income of $55,000 for a family of 5. That's our Ford Taurus we share, not the government. You find out how poor you actually grew up with how late in your life you learn Red Lobster's not a fancy restaurant. And somebody didn't laugh and you're still poor, and that's okay. You have a goal now, that's exciting. Next time you pop down to Seattle, give it a shot. You can afford it, I promise. We think it's great, but it's the Applebee's of the sea, that's what it is. I didn't know Red Lobster wasn't fancy until I was 37. And I'm 37. It was months ago. It was this summer it happened, okay? I was in New York City with my friends. We were in Times Square and we were walking. There's a 3-story Red Lobster. I was like, whoa! And I took my phone out. I started taking photos of a Red Lobster because it was 3 stories. I was like, oh, nobody's gonna believe this. Nobody back home is gonna believe that I saw a 3-star Red Lobster. That must be the mother, you know, like. And my friends are like, you love Red Lobster? I was like, oh, I love Red Lobster. Like, let's go. And I'm like, we wish. Someday. And they're like, no, for real, let's just go. I was like, no, for real, I got shorts on. We're not getting in. That's a khakis only establishment, all right? Someone's grandpa in town gonna pay for that? That joke hit. You love when you're doing a stand-up special and one person in the crowd laughs. That's what you're going for. I connected with one guy, and we filmed this, and we flew the whole crew to Alaska. That's what we was trying to get, baby! One guy.
All I'm saying is I've been getting a lot of bar fights, because I don't think... You can't tell me you love the First Amendment and tell me I can't criticize the troops, because I'm going to stand here as an American also and tell you I don't think Navy SEALs should be ticklish, and... And there's always some guy with like a grunt-style t-shirt at the other end of the bar like, why not? It's endearing. No, it's a weakness. And it shouldn't be tolerated. You're telling me these are the best of the best and all it's gonna take is a big feather to get them to spill the beans? It's unacceptable, unacceptable. Navy SEALs shouldn't be ticklish, and also, you shouldn't qualify for the CIA if you've ever fallen for a surprise party. That should just be the test. That should be one of the tests. Oh, I thought we were just going to Nana's house. Yeah, on your birthday! If everybody yells surprise and you're like, I had no idea, then the surprise is you need to find a new career. I will say this, politically speaking, I will say this. I think that the last 8 years in this country has really ruined the president's been kidnapped genre of action movie. I will say that it has deflated my enthusiasm. Man, that was a fun movie. 10 years ago, that was fun. Oh, you'd go right to the cinema on Friday. The president's been kidnapped. Oh no, who's gonna save him? Channing Tatum? I hope his shirt doesn't come off. We were excited for those. You can't make that movie now. That movie does not have the steam it once held. The president's been kidnapped. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not good out there. People aren't happy, man. Inflation's out of control. Well, what are the kidnappers asking for? Healthcare? Yeah. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'll watch it, but I'm not rooting for who you want me to root for. Oh, they saved him? Okay, that's cool. Why my premium still through the roof? I'm not going to the sequel, I'll tell you that.
I long for the days of right before smartphones. I feel like that was the peak fun cell phone era, right? 2006, 2007. They were trying to get smart. There were all these weird new phones that came out all the time. They had like a keyboard that slid out of the side. They were all made of plastic. They had little doors in them. A lot of them had an antenna you could pull up for some reason. Like, time for a big call. Why? Just make it work all the time. Did that ever save a call? Was it like, I'm losing you, hold on. Oh, nope, got you back, yeah. No, I had an extra 2.5 inches of antenna in the chamber. Crystal clear now. But then the iPhone hit, 2008, right? Changed everything. They were like, look at this. They came to the mall, they had little kiosks. They're like, this is the phone of the future. It's made out of glass. You know that stuff that breaks? Yeah, we made the whole phone out of that. So anyway you drop it, smash. Can you make it not break? No, but when you buy it, we will also sell you a little suit of armor for it that makes it too big to fit in any pants. The big piece of tech that they were so excited about was like, this is what makes it the greatest phone. Is you can hold it like this, and it's a phone. You can turn it sideways, and you can watch a video. And it knows when you turn it, and it turns on its own. And we were all like, wow. Flash forward to today, anytime my phone turns, I am furious. I'm like, why is it turning? Stop turning. I'm in bed. You should know I'm in bed. You know everything about me, phone. The first thing they had to do on the next iPhone they released was make it so you could turn off turning. They're like, we're sorry about all the turning. You can turn turning off now. Turning's turned off, there's a thing, you slide down, no turning. Turning's off, but then you have to remember turning's turned off, because sometimes you try to turn it, you're like, hang on, I turned turning on. Then you gotta slide it down, turning on, and then turn it till it knows it's turned. You'd think there'd just be a button to turn it, but no, that's not how it works. You open up the turning, then turn it till it's aware that it's turned, then you tilt it too far back and it goes upside down, you're like, hold. And that's it. They haven't improved it since then. There's been not a lot of new tech coming, no slide-out keyboards, no antennae. They moved the headphone jack around a little bit. We had to live through that saga. They were like, it's on the top, it's on the bottom, it's back on top. Then we went, we don't really care where it is. And they went, well, then you don't get it anymore. We took it away. Everything comes out of one hole in the bottom now, like a bird.
You know, there was a thing I read recently that was, there was a woman in Decatur, Georgia. She heard some buzzing. You're gonna love this one then. She had 120,000 bees living in her ceiling. This is true, you can Google it later. Just put in 120,000 and bee, it'll autocorrect bees. And I don't know about you guys, Denver, but I feel like if I see 5 bees, I'm like, there's a lot of bees here. We should do something about our bee problem. But you know, me, maybe I'm some liberal coastal elite motherfucker who notices bees, you know? Well, let's Let's say 10,000 bees. Wow, 10,000 bees coming and going from your house, doing what they do, eating leaves and I don't know much about bees' lives or what they eat. That definitely seems like enough bees to be like, bees. No? What about 20,000 bees? That's 2 times 10,000 bees, which already seemed like a lot to me. No? 30,000 bees? I talked to a bee person. 30,000 bees is 9 pounds of bees. That's a healthy baby boy of bees. Definitely seems like enough bees to be like, we have bees here. No? 40,000 bees. 40,000 bees. That is a golden doodle of bees. Woof, woof. There are bees here. No, we're not noticing them yet? 50,000 bees. 50,000 bees. That's Dodger Stadium of bees. Each bee has its own seat. Adorable, but a lot of bees. Empirically, a lot of bees. What? 60,000? What are you talking about? 60,000 bees and we haven't noticed them? That's a Nissan Juke filled with bees. They're packed in tight. They're holding each other, tip to tail, tip to tail. They could drive the thing if they could figure it out, but they can't because they're bees. Nary a peep from this woman at 60,000 bees. It takes 2 Nissan Jukes filled with bees before this woman is like, there appear to be bees here. And that's America, guys.
I think white people are the only race of people that like to be scared for fun. Like, you feel me? Not an attack. Doesn't make you bad. Makes you interesting. But not bad, but bungee jumping, skydiving, swimming with sharks. These are torture tactics. Some of you pay for them. That's a curveball. I just think white people get to have a different relationship with fear. Doesn't make anyone bad. I just think it's an interesting observation. White people can have a different relationship with fear. Like, I think white people are the only people you could walk up to and just be like, hey, you want to do something scary today? And y'all won't just outright say no. You feel me? You'll be like, well, what do you got in mind? You feel me? But like, you go to anybody of another race, they're like, no. But like, white people have follow-up questions sometimes. They're like, well, what are you thinking? Okay. Look at roller coasters, right? Theme park owners know white people love being scared so much, you'll pay for a picture of your own face terrified. That's their business model. That's how reliable it is. They were like, yeah, that's where we're gonna get the rest of the money. I've been in so many white homes and seen a framed picture of the entire family terrified. Why? Why is that even a thing? I haven't been in one black family's home and seen a picture of 4 black people absolutely terrified. And they're like, yeah, that's the time I got stuck up at gunpoint, right there. That's us. This is where I tried to sell my kids for my own life. So wild to me, man. And understand what I'm saying, because I understand I'm generally speaking, right? I'm speaking in generalities. I understand there's special case scenarios for everything. So please, like, I'm not being irresponsible with this. Just be on the same page with me. I'm just saying, generally speaking, though, that kind of holds true. I'm saying, generally speaking, I feel like white people feel fear so rarely that y'all schedule it as a vacation activity. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, literally put it on a schedule. You're like, at 12, we're gonna have lunch. At 1, we're gonna pet a tiger. You're like, what the f*** are you talking about? A tiger? Huh? You know what no one black has ever said to me? I wanna go on a safari. Not once. I got so many black friends, no one's ever wanted to go. It's our country, and we're like, nah. But I have so many white friends that want to go. Doesn't make them bad. I'm just saying it's an interesting difference that you can spot and go, oh, okay. Why doesn't a safari sound insane to everybody? I didn't realize it was something we were so like polarized on. I thought we were all of the same mind, like that's f***ing crazy. And apparently we don't agree. I never understood like why it isn't crazy. You want to go to the zoo without the walls? That's what we want to do? You want to take away my favorite part of the zoo? The part where they can't get me? That's what we're taking away? Oh, all right. Every time I go to the zoo, people are looking at the animals. I'm looking at the structures. I'm like, that's a good wall. Like that net, love that glass. I've never understood it. Why doesn't a safari sound dangerous to everybody? It's not even a safe web browser. You feel me? You ever open up Safari in front of somebody with Firefox? Like, what the f*** are you doing, man?
But I don't eat at the Cheesecake Factory that often. That's not the kind of restaurant I like. I like a very specific kind of restaurant. I'm a 39-year-old elder millennial from Portland, Oregon. I only like restaurants that proudly advertise themselves as being farm to table. Oh, yeah. Which is a very silly thing for a restaurant to say. Because that's where they grow food. And that's what you eat it off of at every restaurant. Arby's is a farm-to-table restaurant. It's a gross farm, and the table is bolted to the wall, but it's farm-to-table all the same. When I say farm-to-table, I mean something very specific, okay? I mean a farm that is owned by a nice lesbian couple who left finance and bought a goat. And when I say table, I mean like a door that used to be on a very old church that they've taken down and kind of fashioned into a banquet-style seating arrangement where you sit around it with 6 other couples who you don't know, you didn't come with them. And you all talk about the same 3 A24 movies all night. Yeah. When I go to a restaurant, I want the drinks and the light bulbs to be in mason jars. Do you understand me? I like restaurants that have an ampersand in the middle of their name. They cannot spell out the word and. It has to be a cutesy little ampersand, right? It has to be like Turkey and the Wolf. Or the Girl and the Goat. I would eat at Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Every time I go to a restaurant I like, the server comes over and they say the exact same thing. They say, "Have you dined with us before?" Because we do things a little bit different. Never once has it been different. Never once has the server been, "Have you dined with us before?" Because we do things a little bit different. Now take your shirt off and get in the kitchen. You're making me dinner. Never. I've never ordered the charcuterie board and it comes out and so does Marina Abramovich. You know, she like sits across from you. It makes hard emotional eye contact the entire time you're eating. I got married 2 years ago. But we didn't go on our honeymoon until last year. Yeah. We went to Italy. Yeah. Boy, they are Italian over there. You think you're prepared for it, because like it's Italy, and then you're sitting at a cafe in Rome and the server comes over and he's like, "Okay, so first of all, we know do spaghetti." And you're sitting there like, oh my God. The racist didn't go far enough this time. We were in Naples. We went to Naples, and in Naples, I saw 3 people riding one Vespa. 2 of them were smoking unfiltered cigarettes, and the third was holding an open bottle of red wine. It was a toddler. It was a toddler holding the wine. In Naples, they use toddlers as cup holders for wine. We went to the Vatican on our trip, which, as a Jew, does feel like a secret mission. I felt like if I made it all the way through without getting detected, I should get to kiss the Pope. And it's just like, mwah, you didn't find me. He'd probably be cool with it, right? This Pope, isn't it still like the cool Pope right now? Isn't it still? Yeah, the Pope was just like that's his energy. He's like, hey, call me Rick, how are ya? Yeah, like, you know, he doesn't do the big hat, he does a little Catholic yarmulke, that's his energy, right? Kirkland signature robes, that's the Pope. You know who I feel bad for is the next Pope. Because he didn't sign up for all this humble stuff. Right? If he ever wants to go back to full Pope hat strength, he's gonna have to do it gradually. Or people are gonna talk. He's gonna have to, every week, wear a slightly bigger hat. He's gonna be in meetings at the Vatican like, okay, so first order of business is, and one of the cardinals is gonna be like, Your Holiness, is that a bigger hat? No. It's a different hat. It was scary, Italy. A little bit. Because as you're going around the country, you're learning a little bit about its history. And I was reminded that not too long ago, Italy used to be a fascist country. In the 1930s and the 1940s, under Benito Mussolini, they were fascist. And that was crazy to me because this is also the country that invented the ravioli. And it's just hard to hold those two ideas in your head at the same time. Although, I guess if you lived in a country where one person invented something as impactful as the ravioli, you might be more willing to believe that a man could be God. And then I thought about it some more, and I realized something startling. Many of the countries that have given us the finest dumplings on the planet have, at one time or another, succumbed to fascism. Think about it. Russia, dumplings, fascism. Poland, dumplings, fascism. China, in my opinion, the finest dumplings on the planet, but also, occasionally, unfortunately, fascism. So I guess the question that we need to ask ourselves as Americans is, do Hot Pockets count? Because otherwise,
I moved to Minnesota last year in the month of January. And that's how you die. 8-month winters are brutal. God. When I hit my 1-year mark of living there, some of my friends were like, oh, how did you celebrate? I was like, oh, I just walked into my bathroom like it was a prison cell and etched one tally. I did learn a lot by moving there then. I learned that God forbid you try using a bidet there in the winter. That water feels like local anesthesia. Did not feel my beehole for 5 months. It's such a weird state. Right when I moved there, I turned on the TV and there were commercials for vacations to Alaska. And that's when I knew I fucked up. I was like, oh, these are broken people. If Alaska is their Cancun. Living in Minnesota and going on vacation to Alaska is like owning a Nissan Sentra and going on vacation and renting a Nissan Sentra. That's the same terrible. Minnesota was a tough sell, though. I found out also when I got there that they have some of the highest state taxes. I was like, for why? You're cold and expensive? That's like a dog who's ugly and bites. Put it down. Let's get out of here. Skedaddle. And I moved there from Washington where there are no state taxes. So now anytime my boyfriend tries to start a fight with me, I'm like, oh, let me remind you that being your girlfriend now costs me $38 a day. Let me set the thermostat to 72. Off. Let's pick our battles today. When he and I got together, we had that conversation about labels because I felt ready to be called boyfriend and girlfriend, and he goes, you know, being in my 40s, I feel like I'm a little old to be called somebody's boyfriend, but if you call me your man friend, it sounds like I'm not allowed near playgrounds. I was like, all right, well, what are you gonna call me? And he goes, I'll just be like, this is my lady. And I was like, well, we're not at a Renaissance fair. So no. Also, I can't use the equivalent of that. I can't be like, Mom, Dad, I'd like you to meet my lord. And he's also a comedian. My ex-husband was actually a comedian too. I can't stop where I eat. No, I didn't tell you. My love life is a Chipotle. Just keep the eating and all under one roof. It's very convenient, very farm to table, you know. They're right there. And I wasn't much of a jealous girlfriend in my 20s, but then some switch flipped in my 30s. And now when I see somebody hit on the person I'm with, I just feel myself anamorph into the cast of Jersey Shore. I am ready to brawl. And he does get hit on. When he walks on stage, women whistle at him. And at comedy clubs, there's usually a security guard in the back to kick people out in case they heckle. So at his shows, I've just started to stand next to the security guard. And if I see a woman laughing too hard at one of his jokes, I just walk up and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. He's my favorite comedian. Well, he's my lord. Scoot, beat it. I feel like most people assume I'm exaggerating during that joke, but if you follow me online, you'll know I posted a video a few months ago of a woman who sat in the front row of one of my shows, and after I told that joke, she goes, your boyfriend is my favorite comedian. We've seen him like 8 times. And I was like, lady, did you not just hear that this is when I go snooky on somebody? What are you doing? And she doubled down. She's like, he's so cute. He's so hot. And he responds to my Instagram comments. And that's when I took out my hoop earrings. All the men in the crowd were looking around like, Jerry, Jerry, Jerry. It's like, yeah, time to fuck around and find out, madam. Get up here.
I grew up in a shady neighborhood, you know, and I have a very overprotective Middle Eastern mom, right? Like, as an example, my mom still calls me all the time just to make sure I change the oil in my car. because she thinks one day I'm gonna forget, and that will be my cause of death. I'm like, for real, mama? You think I'm gonna go out like a... I'm from Detroit, player! Put some respect on my death. She's like, don't ever call me player, please. But it's true, man. I grew up in a shady neighborhood. You know, like as an example, neighborhood was so shady, my mom refused to let me and my brothers go trick-or-treating. But she did force my dad to go trick-or-treating for us. And that was not the same experience. No, straight up, my dad would drive me and my brothers, he'd go house to house, and he'd knock on the door, no costume. He's him. The people opening the door have been seeing children all day. And then they open the door to find some 60-year-old hairy, bald Iraqi man, no shirt, open trench coat, nipples hard. And there's this moment of awkwardness, and then my dad would just point to the van. And it's me and my brothers in full Spider-Man costumes. We're just nervously waving. Yeah, it looked like he kidnapped us, okay? Obviously, it's an awkward energy, so my dad would try to make it less awkward, but my dad has this really deep Middle Eastern villain voice. So my dad would be like, don't worry. They are mine. Trick and treat. By the way, they don't have Halloween in Iraq, I checked. I want to go, man. I really do. I just want to visit where my parents are from. I want to see it. Yeah, man, it's so important. So important. You know, I was telling my buddy I want to go there, and he goes, dude, now is a good time to go, because I was reading some article, and in it, it was saying that Iraq is on the come up. It was an Onion article. But, I just wish it was true, you know? Iraq is very unstable now. It is. As are a lot of Middle Eastern countries. Very unstable, man. And I don't want to talk about this too much. I don't want to put the blame on anybody, George Bush. Just wish Iraq would thrive, man. I do. And I think it is possible, but we just need help from pop culture. Which is why I'm just saying they should make Baghdad the place for next year's Coachella. It's a hot spot. It's a great desert, plenty of parking. No evil militia would want to do anything during that weekend. They'd be like, let's see the type of people America is bringing. Bad Bunny is coming? Oh. Yeah, I mean, he is my favorite bunny. Oh, I love that he is bad. Like me. Titi me preguntó si tengo muchas novias. Bro, that would be fire. All y'all would go. Don't act like. Y'all wouldn't, man. I'd pull up, man. I think it'd be so cool, bro. I want to see Snoop Dogg do a collab with Saddam Hussein's hologram. Iraq just needs better press, man. Like, how could they never make it a vacation prize on The Price is Right? Give these contestants a trip they won't forget. By the way, I gotta say this, man. Rest in peace, Bob Barker, bro. One of the best TV hosts of all time. Rest in peace. Bob Barker, man. Yo, how come they never have Arabs on that show? Y'all notice that? I don't think it makes sense, though. They have some dude there. They're like, okay, Yusuf, this brand new Ford Focus, what's the price? Is the price I can get it for? also, Mr. Kerry, I will never buy American piece of shit for. Never. It's garbage car. The transmission is slip. It's like a shit. Keeps this car for you. I don't speak Arabic, by the way. I can just do the accent well. Y'all gonna boo me on my special? You gonna boo me? Do you know how hard it is to speak a language you can't speak? It's hard! And I'm doing my best. I try to speak Arabic, man. I do, man. What I'll do is I'll say as much Arabic as I know, and for what I don't know, I'll just say it with an Arabic accent. Like I'll be like, Habibi, Andi Su'al. Indek hand sanitizer? How they dirty? They're like, what is this autistic man asking us? I wish I did, man. I went to Egypt for the first time recently. My buddy was getting married. I was so excited to go. I was like, I can't wait to speak Arabic to some of the local people, you know, flex the little that I know. I want to immerse myself in the Middle Eastern culture, right? I get to this supermarket. I see this Arab dude behind the counter. I needed to buy some milk, and I know how to ask for that. So I see this guy, and I'm like, Habibi, ahlan wa sahlan, assalamu alaikum, rahmatullah wa barakatuhu. That means hello. Habibi, Andi Su'al, Indek Halib? And he was like, yes, we have milk. Can he feel my white energy? He just knew I was soft. He's like, oh, you're from America. I'm from Cairo, Blair. What do you want? Oat milk? As a matter of fact. Straight up, that was the most my name is Paul I've ever felt. Which is true, my name is Paul. Where my Pauls at? That was a woman. All right. I'm grateful for my name. Our name. My mom named me after an apostle, which I appreciate, man. I love that, bro. I do. But I just wish I had a more, like, cultured name, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had a buddy of mine growing up, man. His name was Farouk. Yo, I Googled it. Farouk means one who could discern truth from falsehood. Paul feels like it means manager at AutoZone. Also, there's no P in Arabic, so my name is pronounced Bol. Which means urine. My name means urine. Bol means urine. My name means urine, but hell yeah. Clap it up for urine. Hey man, I'm just glad my parents didn't name me Skylar. What the f does that mean? One who can discern indica from sativa? One who buys weed with dad's money? All Skylars got money. Not me, man. I didn't grow up with a lot of money, which is frustrating when you're a kid, especially when it's your birthday. Like, I'll tell you this, man, like, I never got any cool gifts growing up. Like, I remember one year for my birthday, my mom just straight up gave me my brother's jacket. That was the gift. Theft. She shoplifted from her own family. I was pretty confused. But not as confused as my brother. Man. Yo, you ever see somebody confused and cold? I was upset, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Because I didn't want that, man. I wanted something different. You know, I didn't understand the circumstance that we were in, so I tried to reason with my dad. I was like, Dad, I don't know if you know this. Mom gave me Sam's jacket for my birthday. I'm not happy, I'm sad. And my dad was like, Habibi, you are not sad. You are ungrateful.